Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping straight into the ultimate crystal ball for German football today, looking at the predictive data for the 2026-27 Bundesliga season. If you're a fan of tactical nuance, the sheer passion of the terraces, and the cold, hard numbers behind the beautiful game, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down exactly how the analysts see this upcoming season playing out, from the very pinnacle of the table all the way down to that dreaded drop zone. Buckle up, because the data paints a picture of absolute certainty at the top and just pure, unfiltered chaos everywhere else. Okay, let's get right into it. You know what's really fascinating here? It's not just who is predicted to finish where, but how confident the model actually is about those predictions. The predictive models boast very high confidence when we look at the heavyweights battling for the crown. But as soon as we slide down the table into the middle pack, that confidence level absolutely plummets to lower. We go from highly predictable dominance to this razor-thin margin of error, where literally a single bad bounce of the ball could change a club's entire season. So, here's how this all breaks down. First, the title race predictor. Second, European qualification spots. Third, the mid-table chaos. And fourth, the relegation zone. Section 1, the title race predictor. Highest certainty. Starting right at the top, the data is basically screaming at certainty. Sitting at number 1, predicting the champions of the 2026-27 season, it's Bayern Munich. The model gives this outcome a very high confidence level. According to all the metrics, Bayern finishing in first place is the absolute most secure bet on the board. Whatever turbulence they might have faced in previous campaigns, scratch that. The statistical models expect them to totally lock down the league this time around. And just look at this forecasted points gap. It really tells the whole story, doesn't it? Bayern Munich is projected to rack up a massive 84 to 87 points. Sitting behind them is Borussia Dortmund, forecasted at 75 to 79 points. And right on Dortmund's heels, we have Bayer Leverkusen, predicted to grab between 71 and 75 points. The data doesn't just think Bayern will win. It predicts a really comfortable cushion of roughly 8 to 12 points over their nearest rivals. That is a dominant march to the title, totally free of that last-day nail-biting drama. Now, dropping just below Bayern, the model's confidence shifts from very high to just high for the rest of the top 4. The data is highly confident that Borussia Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen, and RB Leipzig, who, by the way, are projected to earn between 66 and 70 points, will secure those remaining incredibly lucrative Champions League tickets. However, the model does concede that the specific order of second, third, and fourth place might shuffle around a bit. Dortmund, Leverkusen, and Leipzig will all be dining at Europe's top table for sure. The data just isn't totally certain who gets the best seat. Moving on to Section 2, European qualification spots, the continental hunt. So, for those teams hovering just outside the top 4, getting into Europe is absolutely crucial. We're talking prestige, player recruitment, and those massive financial windfalls. But notice the shift in our predictive certainty here. As we move down to the Europa League spots, the data model drops to a medium confidence level. It predicts that Eintracht Frankfurt and VfB Stuttgart will claim the 5th and 6th place spots respectively heading into the Europa League. It's a fantastic achievement for both clubs, but that medium confidence rating, it tells us the analysts believe these spots are definitely vulnerable. It really wouldn't take much of a slip-up for another team to snatch these places away. And rounding out that European hunt, the data has SC Freiburg claiming 7th place. That secures them the Bundesliga's sole ticket to the UEFA Conference League. Freiburg has consistently punched above their weight, and the model sees them doing just enough to edge out the rest of the league for those Thursday night European fixtures. All right, Section 3, the mid-table chaos, razor-thin margins. We are now entering a totally volatile void where these statistical models, honestly, they start to really sweat. I want you to read this direct quote from the source data analysis because it perfectly captures the reality of this league. It states, positions 8 through 15 are the hardest to predict because they're usually separated by only a few points. This is exactly why the analysts slap a lower confidence rating on this entire block of the table. In this zone, a single win streak of 3 games can launch you toward Europe, while the 3-game losing slump, well, that can drag you right into a relegation dogfight. It's statistically murky, beautifully unpredictable, and, let's be real, incredibly stressful for the fans. I mean, just look at the massive historic clubs caught in this unpredictable dogfight. The data pegs Mainz 05 at 8th, followed so closely by Borussia Mönchengladbach, Werder Bremen, Union Berlin, FC Augsburg, Hamburger SV, TSG Hoffenheim, and finally 1 FC Köln down in 15th. We've got a newly returned traditional powerhouse like Hamburg right alongside established top-flight regulars, just all mashed up together. Because of those razor-thin margins we just talked about, literally any team on this list could slide wildly up or down the table by May. It's a complete toss-up. Which brings us to Section 4, the relegation zone, the drop. Now, for the clubs sitting in 16th, 17th, and 18th, man, the financial and structural consequences of failing here are just absolutely devastating. The data lays out a very specific, rigid hierarchy of failure for this bottom three. Coming in at 16th is Schalke 04, dropping down to 17th is SC Paderborn, and rooted to the absolute bottom of the table in 18th place is SV Elversberg. It's a pretty grim forecast for these three clubs, but there is a massive structural difference in what these specific positions actually mean when the final whistle blows on the season. But here's the crucial takeaway. You really have to understand the massive difference between finishing 16th and 17th. Schalke 04, in 16th place, they actually get a lifeline. They get to go into the relegation playoff, a dramatic two-legged tie against the third-place team from the 2 Bundesliga to fight for their survival. It is heart-stopping, but hey, it's a chance. SC Paderborn and SV Elversberg, however, they face a definitive automatic drop. There's no second chance. They are predicted to be directly relegated to the second division. So, we've seen it all. The absolute certainty at the top with Bayern Munich, that tight race for European nights, the complete coin flip of the mid-table, and the harsh reality of the predicted relegation zone. But you know what the most beautiful thing about football is? Matches are played on grass, not on spreadsheets. The data gives us the most probable outcomes, based on current metrics. But human spirit, tactical masterclasses, and just sheer luck always have their say. So I'll leave you with this. Who will defy the data in the 2026-27 season? Which club is going to shatter these predictions and write their own story? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the beautiful game.